Hello, Barefoot family. Welcome to another episode of Talking Barefoot, where we look at what the future holds for men and masculinity. We're piloting a few different formats right now, and we'd love to know what you think of this episode. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as you join us on your barefoot journey. And now, let's get into it. In today's podcast, we are speaking to several men at our Barefoot Man retreat in Toledo, Spain. They've just spent the weekend getting naked for our monthly digital magazine, Raw Portfolio. But, spoiler alert, they've put their clothes on for the podcast. But if you want to subscribe to our other content, click on the link up here. First, I'm going to talk to two of our frequent Barefoot participants, Alex and Raphael. We discuss the inadvertent outcomes of Instagram's policy on nudity, how it affects men, how it affects women, and how banning nudes while promoting sexual content may damage both our mental and our physical health. Then, in the second part of the podcast, I ask Luke, Fernando, and Craig how it feels to be getting naked with men of different sexualities in a shared space, and how we can create new rules for life through that. And don't forget, if you're listening to this podcast, it is also available in full on YouTube, free for you to watch and share. And if you want to see and hear more from Barefoot Man, where men bear all as part of their quest for healthier masculinity, you can find us at barefootman.org or probably click on a link down here somewhere. Or, of course, search for us on any of the social media platforms. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as you join us on your barefoot journey today. And now, without further ado, let's get into it.
So you guys are going to be going shortly to the airport. And this is our last chance to catch up before the end of the weekend. And I wanted to ask you how it's been for you. So but before we get into that, I just want to say thank you both from me and from the team, because you've both been so amazing. Oh, Jesus. For me, it's felt like an amazing weekend. But I'm keen to hear how it's been for you.
Yeah, I can start. I want to thank you and the whole team for this cool and great experience. It was my second time. And the whole crew and you took care of us very well. And I felt very comfortable throughout the stay. And it was too short, in my opinion. I could stay at least one week longer or so. And it was a cool experience. I'm used to be naked after this weekend. And now I felt comfortable all of the time. And I think it's a good, it was a good occasion to meet new people and to be in this surroundings. And I think it was a special energy because we were all naked, we were all doing the same things. And of course, the best of it, we created some good content and good stuff for Barefoot Man, which is not a new name. Yeah, and I'm very happy that I was part of it again. Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure. And just to be clear, when you say you're used to being naked, you mean our project has made you get used to being naked?
Yes.
So before this project, what were your experiences of nudity?
My previous experience, I'm nude at the bathroom at home. These are the places, well, under the shower, but I am on my own, and I'm not in front of 15 or 20 people, and most of the people I didn't know before.
Right.
So this was also a new experience to get naked in front of people you don't know, foreign people, and you don't care. Like it's been 2 minutes, you feel maybe a little uncomfortable, but then you don't care. It's normal. Everyone's naked at the table, at the shoots, when you're drinking, so naked all the time.
Does it feel normal or does it feel better than normal?
I think it feels better because it was very hot. So when it's hot, I don't want to wear clothes. So, and it feels because you look at the others and then you look at your body and they're all different body types. And you see that it is normal and yeah, we're all men. We're different, but we're also the same at the same time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, I think so. Yes. So basically, we come from different lived experiences.
Yeah.
Some of us are queer, some of us are straight.
Yeah.
Some of us are highly educated, some of
Yeah.
us are not. And we can find a common language, even though we're speaking different languages.
Yes. Yeah.
Literally English and Spanish.
Yeah.
Even though we come from different life backgrounds, we get naked together and it creates a universality to our experience. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. We all have different histories.
Yeah.
We live on different places. We have our own lives, which are very different, I assume. And then we come to this place all together, and then we're the same.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
Yeah. Nice. And you two have been naked together before.
Yes.
In Manchester, am I right?
Yeah, in London and Manchester.
London and Manchester.
Yeah. This is our third place to be naked with. Yeah.
Wow, you're practically married.
Yeah, we are. At least engaged.
Thinking about dating, going steady. You're going steady once a year.
It starts to become serious. So,
And so, like, you're gay, you're straight. You get naked together. How is that for each of you?
The fact that he's gay and I'm straight is not really a factor in that moment, really. We're just having a good time. We're doing stuff here together for a cause that we believe in together, and we're just enjoying our time and like creating this like strong bond. And our backgrounds, our sexual preferences, our opinions, it doesn't really matter. The what really matters is that we're just enjoying the moment together. So it kind of fades into the background of differences.
Does it fade into the background for you, Raphael?
absolutely.
Okay.
I didn't think about the sexuality of the others at any moment. So,
Okay.
no, doesn't matter.
That's really interesting. But do you feel that you're able to be completely honest about your response to the situation? Like, you're in a group of hot men, all naked. They may not be available to you, but they're still beautiful.
Well,
How does that feel?
it still feels good because I like look at men, naked men. They're beautiful. I mean, I think everyone does. And even if they're not available, I don't think about that.
No, fair enough.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I like look at them, talk to them, have a good time, but then not think about that they're not available.
I hope we created a space here. I'd like to suggest we created a space here where there's not the stress of thinking I have to pretend that it doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
Understand what I mean?
Yeah, I think so, because often in the gay world, the gay culture, it's we have to pretend we're perfect. We have to pretend we are like we should be available all the time, and we're constantly looking to hook up something or so.
Yeah.
And this was absolutely not the topic. And this, although we were naked all the time.
I mean, that is a separate point, but a really good one. That in gay world, when we're naked together, it's kind of a competition.
Yes. Yeah. Totally.
Right. So there was not the pressure of the competition in this situation. How did that feel for you?
Not at all. It felt really good because I'm naked, I'm here, and this is what I am, this is what I look like.
Yeah.
and nobody makes a comment or even anything about it.
Right.
So you feel free and you don't think about, oh no, I should have more abs or I could have a little more muscle. No.
But let's agree as two gay men that, like, Alex is hot. So,
100%.
right? Yeah. So,
100%, yeah.
but the nice thing about this situation is that we can say that, and Alex is sitting here and he's laughing, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And we can all still get naked together. I think that's the note of liberation that I want to hit on. For gay men, it's liberating that on the one hand, you're not kind of in a sex competition.
Yes.
And on the other hand, you're able to allow your sexuality to exist.
Yes.
For me, that's what matters.
Yes, absolutely. And it's also that the straight guys felt very comfortable also, and they didn't take care that we are gay or something, and there was not a strange situation between us, and they didn't like, they're laughing a little, oh, we're all naked and we're man, and you're gay and I'm straight. This was not the topic. So,
and why do you think that is? Maybe I'll ask you, and then I'm going to ask Alex from the other perspective.
that is a good question, and I don't know if I had an answer or explanation for that, but maybe because of the project, because everybody who is in the project knows what it is about, and if you want to join this project, then this mindset would be wrong. Right. To accuse someone about his body or something. So yeah, in the project, and we are liberal and we're free, and yeah.
So we've kind of created a set of new rules within this project for men, and we're living by those rules within this project, and that's what I'm putting words in your mouth here, I know, but that's, I think, what I'm hearing from you. What would you say, Alex?
I mean, for me, from the perspective of a straight guy, it's a little bit different, obviously, because for me, I don't want to talk for all straight guys here, but I think it's very educational for us, especially when we have those moments where we sit down together, like in the pool before, and we just talk about our individual experiences in the past or in the present, that for us straight guys, we can also get to know how it is for somebody who's gay in today's world.
Yeah.
And by creating this common understanding, we also can understand how today's rules, they're actually there, because we take them for granted, us straight guys, how they're actually there and how they're kind of nonsense. And that's the step number one, to start defining also a new set of rules. And also by creating this this understanding, we also create bonds and we create trust. And that allows for this atmosphere to be present where we can actually be naked around each other. And sexuality or no sexuality, if it is a factor or not, it doesn't really matter, because number one thing is that there's trust. So if somebody feels a certain way and somebody else doesn't, we all trust each other anyway, and there's no harm that is going to be done. So that is a perfect platform to have these conversations, get to know each other, and figure out all this stuff that we need to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, what I love, and I really felt it this weekend, is we're not two tribes or however many tribes. We're one tribe. We're men. And we don't worry about who's having what experience in the moment beyond a concern that they're having an authentic experience and being able to be themselves as men. But that's our only concern. We're not kind of focused on who's winning, who's on top, who's like the leader of the team, it feels very much like, by taking away all these layers of rules and the literal layers of clothes, we're able to start again. And I mean, of course, I'm sort of, this is part of my thinking around this project, that I feel it, that I felt it this weekend, that I guess I'd love to know. I think you are saying that you agree with me, and I'd love to hear your kind of own particular spins on this. But I think, what you're saying is, you're both saying you didn't feel defined by your sexuality. No. Which I think is amazing, because so much of our lives as men are defined by our sexuality.
Yeah, indeed. Honestly, it goes both sides. People who you can call very left or very right, both sides love to categorize all the time. You know?
Yes.
And they create like these definitions of individuals based on the categories, and I think that's a bit ridiculous sometimes. We don't actually need that. As long as we're being real to each other, we have the opportunity to have moments like we have right now,
Yeah.
where we just talk.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing we really need, just transparent communication.
Absolutely, absolutely, and an openness to embracing each other. And like as I was saying to the guys earlier, the theme of this weekend, it came from Carlos. Actually, we had a Zoom, I don't know, maybe a week before, and I was talking the way I normally do, too much, and he said it's about looking after each other.
Yes.
And I think that, and I thought, I like that. That's the theme of the weekend: men looking after each other. And I feel, don't you feel like that's what we did?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah. I wanted to say what you shortly said. We all have labels. In our everyday lives, we have labels, and we do labeling other people. I think, like, yeah, on your normal life, you are straight, you're gay, your family, you're not. And so we have all the labels. And the moment we took off our clothes, the labels are also gone. So there is no label, just humans.
I think when we're naked, we really are kind of forced to feel vulnerable.
Yeah.
And when we feel vulnerable, like in front of the other, and everybody feels the same way, it creates more of an equal playing field a little bit.
I completely agree. And I think one of the problems I have with social media and their attitude towards nudity is nudity is the one part of the human condition that has no agenda. Nudity has no agenda. We've imposed agendas on it.
Yeah.
And as soon as we are wearing so much as a watch, we have an agenda. Like, it can be that we have an agenda because we wear a Rolex.
Yeah.
And we're trying to make a certain statement. It could be that we have an agenda because we wear a Swatch. And we're trying to say we don't care about the stuff that the Rolex tribe cares about. But we're all making statements. And clothes are a way of making a statement.
Yeah.
And as long as we are being forced to wear clothes in social media, we're being forced to make statements against our will. And I think I look at some of the lingerie photos, or lingerie, as people who are not French speakers like to call it. But, you look at those images on Instagram, particularly of women wearing a string thong. And it's like, yeah, I mean, if this woman wasn't shaved, this would not be allowed on Instagram. But because they're okay with anything as long as it's shaved, then we can show the labia of a woman's vagina, but we can't show the pubic hair of anyone. It's obscene to kind of make people feel ashamed of natural body hair. Not only is it toxic psychologically, it's toxic physiologically, because you've got young people exposing themselves to infections through poor self-care.
Yeah.
But to get back to the point about nudity having no agenda, nudity is our natural state. And people talk about nudity like nudity's to blame, nudity. No. We are to blame. What we have done to our bodies in terms of how the rules we have created around how we can relate to each other and how we can relate to each other's bodies, that is the problem. And it's particularly, I think, it's a problem for men, and not just for men. The regime that men have created around how we look at our own bodies and also other people's bodies is incredibly toxic. So this really affects women. For example, the straight male gaze is very toxic. And one of the things I love about this project is I feel straight men get to experience for the first time not being the apex predator in the room. It's like normally straight men are the ones looking around. They're the ones doing the hunting. This is an analogy you used one time in an interview in the early days when you said, why should I always be the hunter and never the prey. I thought it was so beautifully put. And I've never forgotten that. And I think that's something that straight men can learn in relation to women, which is a benefit of this project for women. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. And many times, these rules that we go by as straight guys, it's also not something really conscious that we try to perpetuate, but many times it's also how you're brought up as a straight guy, how you're supposed to feel from certain situations. And I'm not saying that then straight guys are without faults, given like current situations with like how people like behave or feel towards each other, because given that we are kind of at the top of the decision-making ladder, it's also this very sweet feeling. Absolutely. And we just don't really proactively do anything against it. And that's something bad within itself, But what we really need is to become aware of this in the first place, and not only become aware, but then also proactively try to do something against it. And that's why platforms like Barefoot Man, where we get together and we discuss it, are the perfect platforms where we can actually gain this awareness and understand what we can do to kind of fight against it a little bit.
I couldn't have put it better myself. I absolutely agree.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really good. But what you said, social media, I want to just say something about it, is itself really toxic, and it became more toxic in the last time. And when you look at Instagram and all, or the gay app for like Grindr, or also for the straight people Tinder or so, it created an unhealthy picture of how people should look like, how the bodies should look like. If you're not perfect, then you can't post a picture on social media, for example. And I think this creates an unrealistic picture for young people, especially because they have the pressure to look perfect, to have an exciting life, to do just exciting things and so. And I think Barefoot Man is a good platform where it doesn't count where you come from, what your sexuality is, what your body looks like. You're naked, you're the same. And this is not the pressure from social media, which is created nowadays. And I like this idea. So you are as you are, and you're good.
Absolutely. I mean, we had a meeting with Instagram about this issue of pubic hair, because they were removing our images on the basis of having pubic hair. And they acknowledged that the perfection filter of Instagram is a problem. And they also acknowledged because I said, what about the inadvertent outcomes of your policy? And they said, what inadvertent outcomes? And I said, well, the aesthetic of shaved genitalia comes from the world of pornography, where they wanted the cameras to be able to pick up more biological detail of the genitalia without the obstruction of hair. Also, the Disneyfication of sex, where we're not allowed to be animals anymore. We're not allowed to be flesh and blood. We have to almost be kind of like avatars. And it's plastic. And I said, and the fact that you're shaming young people into feeling that this is the standard that they have to live up to. And they were literally like, oh my God, none of these thoughts had occurred to us. And they were actually the two women that we spoke to within Instagram, and they were senior people within policy and communications for Europe and Middle East. So that's quite a broad region. They were sympathetic to our arguments about pubic hair. But as an organization, Instagram has not changed.
No.
I guess also won't.
No, they won't change. They have their policy, and funny fact, all the people who work on Meta for Instagram, they don't use it. Because the employees say that it is toxic, and they don't use it because it makes you feel bad at the end of the day.
So anecdotally, I think we're saying that people of whom we know who work for Meta are doing that, because some Meta employees maybe use Instagram. So can we rephrase that in a way that we could use? What do you actually know here, Raphael?
Do you have friends who work for Meta?
No, I heard it. It's like a thing you've heard from.
Oh, listen.
I know one of my working colleagues, she knows the person who works for Meta,
Yeah.
and she told her that and she by herself and many of her colleagues at Meta don't use it because they know exactly the toxic with all the filters and everything, and that it makes you feel bad because when you look at Instagram and the stories and you see, oh my gosh, he or she is having another holiday and they are having they're out and eating this great food and they're doing this exciting thing and that exciting thing, and oh my gosh, their bodies look so good, and this makes you feel bad because you feel like that you are not enough, that you don't do enough, that your life is kind of boring, and that your body doesn't look so good as the others, and so it makes you feel bad.
Yeah, and I guess the reason why it will not change is the whole business model behind it. It's just an organization that tries to maximize profits, and profits for them means more traffic on the sites. And so that is their number one priority, to get more people involved, regardless of the means. If the means are human or not, they will always be secondary to the business model.
Yeah.
So if you generate more clicks, more people's interest, it can also be through toxic means. And if it is through toxic means, it certainly will be through toxic means. It's going to generate more revenue. And that's why companies like Meta and Instagram, in my opinion, they can never possibly change because they run on this principle that they need to maximize their money.
Their business works really good.
Yes.
And yet we're developing a business model at Barefoot Man, and Alex, you know, you're a core part of that business model because you and your brother are going to be the leads on our data research and data analysis. And we see a business opportunity in a little bit in the same way that we believe wind farms can create a business out of sustainable energy. Mm-hmm. So you don't only generate electricity by burning coal. You don't only make money from generating electricity by burning coal. You can also do it in a sustainable, healthy way, right?
Indeed. And it all boils down to what are we trying to achieve here?
Yeah.
And we got all together here not to make money. We got together here for like a healthy purpose that we all truly from the heart believe in.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the core difference here.
So really, Meta and Alphabet, they're like the fossil fuel industry.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and they are.
They generate energy from toxic, non-sustainable sources that are killing us, yes, and will ultimately kill the planet.
You know?
Yeah, but this is the fact that people or humans like toxic things, unfortunately, or many, and this is really a good business because,
Well, it's interesting because we've come to the name Barefoot Man because we drew the analogy between the carbon footprint and the social footprint. So we all understand the carbon footprint. You know, the number of private jets that you take determines how much you're destroying the planet.
Yes.
And similarly, the degree to which you are toxic within society has an impact on the whole society.
Yes.
There's a connection between the personal and the social and the universal.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that we're drawing an analogy now between the carbon footprint and the social footprint in terms of Alphabet and Meta as fossil fuel companies.
Yeah.
And our company as renewables.
It's a comparison, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's really fitting.
Yeah, but it's also not so easy to go the other way, like a Barefoot Man does, because you have to be more creative, and because it's easy to do the business like Meta and Alphabet do, to build your business on a toxic things or so.
Drill a hole in the ground.
And it will function, but if you want to do something sustainable, you have to be more creative, it will take you longer time, more efforts, but at the end, it's of course the better results, the better product,
Let's hope
the better
so.
feelings.
I think so. I believe so. I think we're all sitting here because we believe so.
Yeah, and because we've experienced it ourselves.
Right?
Yeah.
After a day like today, I mean, there is no doubt that this is really what we need.
So tell me, getting right back to our kind of weekend that we've just spent together, what have been the best moments for you first, Raphael?
For me, the best moment was like when you come in clothed, and then you meet new people, a lot of new people, and then says somebody, we would like to start, and then you put off your clothes, and this is the moment where you put off the labels, and they're all the same, and then I think the moment when we are all naked the first time, the really first time, and you look a little bit, and then there is some special energy created, which covers us all, and this lasts for the whole weekend. And this is the energy, like really the first moment when you're all naked, okay, let's start this. And then you feel comfortable, and it's not even to feel comfortable. It's, I have the feeling that most of them enjoyed really.
Yeah.
Not just feeling comfortable, most of us, including me, enjoyed it.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I really loved it. And for me, it's honestly a little bit different because I've been doing this or something similar at least since 2018 already.
Right?
But every time I do it, I've grown almost addicted to it in the sense that, I have a very standard life in the sense that I have a 9-to-5 job. I live in a big city. I am always on social media. And this really felt like a retreat for me where I left all of that behind and really focused on what really matters and more genuine human interactions without all that fluff around it, without all that toxicity around it. So after a weekend like this or a week like this, depending how long we're staying together, and when I go back home, I really feel like my batteries have been recharged.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
So that's something really great about it. But what I really enjoyed about this weekend is that even though I've been doing it now for 5 years, and I don't know in how many shoots I've participated, but definitely more than 5, I love seeing the trajectory of the project, where it's going, and that it's really going to a place that I really believe in, and it's going in the right direction. And now, especially in particular after this shoot, it became very apparent to me that this is a good first step out of like what we used to be, which was also something good. But now it's really become something that's so much broader and so much more important in my eyes. And we're really going in the right direction with this. So that's really what I enjoyed the most.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. Yeah. Amazing. Butthole sunbathing, not so keen. But
Yeah, I guess I always boil everything down to the science, and I guess I still need to read the science on the
yeah.
butthole sunbathing. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe one day you will be convinced.
Yeah.
But you have to try it a few times.
It's all about the vitamin D.
Yeah. It's very important.
I mean, my singular empirical evidence point at it being nice. It felt really, really nice. I'm not gonna deny that.
Wow.
But I'll make an effort and really like properly read up on it to see what there is out there and get more informed.
I mean, how many moisturizers actually do something for your face, and how many just feel nice?
Good point.
Right?
I don't read up on that either.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, but
Well, you're very lucky to have the skin you do.
that's because I don't use a moisturizer.
Oh my God. Blasphemy. It's been so great talking to you today, and I feel like we've just in the course of this conversation, like coming up with that analogy about fossil fuel and social media, and how those businesses, how much those businesses have in common.
Yeah.
These are the kind of conversations that happen all the time when we get together for shoots like this. And I love that about this project. And I love that about the energy that's created here. And I thank you both for bringing your energy to this project and making it count, because you really do. You really do. And I love you for it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Angus, for putting it all together and making it possible. And I'm really looking forward to also bringing what we experience here,
Yeah.
to more people. so more people can have the pleasure of experiencing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. And I also enjoyed this little conversation because it's important to speak it out. What you thought about the whole weekend, and not just going home and have your own thoughts, just to speak it out and have a little chat, so that it's even more in your mind, and I will keep it in my mind.
Well, I hope you will. I hope we will speak again soon.
Yeah.
And that we will continue our journey together. Thank you very much, Neil.
Thank you. Thanks.
Safe travels. So, guys, you're all heading off to the airport any moment. And I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you to all of you for coming. Fernando, I know this isn't your first rodeo. So I'm going to start with you because you've been to our shoots before. Tell me what your feelings are at the end of this weekend.
I feel very fulfilled. I had a blast. Out of the shootings that I've been a part of, I feel like this one was my favorite one. Not only we had a beautiful place to be at, gorgeous people to be around, but the energy was so light, fun, and kind, and I appreciate that a lot.
That's very nice because when Carlos and I were designing the weekend, our motto was look after each other.
Nice.
So do you feel that is the vibe that we managed to get across?
Definitely. The kindness, not only from the production team, but from the sportsmen that we were surrounded with.
Yeah.
It was also light, and we had those moments of focus, but also the moments of laughter and chill and have fun. The balance was great. I really appreciate this weekend. Thank you. And thank you for that, huh?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, so, and now I turn to you, Craig and Luke. This is your first time in many ways. So your first time out of the UK. And first time where Factor 50 has actually been important. Right. I mean, Factor 50 has saved your life.
I tend to default to Factor 30, which probably explains why I'm usually sunburned by the end of the day. So.
Well, Factor 30, in Belfast, it's probably enough to get by for a while, but not here. No. So tell me, how has that been for a start, being naked in the sun?
It's not something you would have done back home, really. We just don't have the weather. Even outside of our so-called heat waves, it's not really the type of weather you would do it in. So it's been a brand new experience in that regards. New country, new experience, new group of people, just multiple new all at once. So it's been quite fun.
Quite a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll take you a little time. What would you say your favourite moment has been?
I think just being with this group of people, just everybody doing the same thing, and as was said, everybody looking after each other. It's been quite really friendly atmosphere.
Oh, that's nice.
It's been really nice.
And the language hasn't been a barrier.
There's been enough of people translating that it's been fine. I don't speak a single word of Spanish, but enough people have been translating that enough really it's been fine. And the guys speaking Spanish have clicked on that I don't, so they've been speaking to me, they spoke in English.
Well, I mean, the British approach to speaking Spanish is just to speak in English really loudly. Yeah. And Luke, also your first time in the nude. Perhaps not in Spain, or is this your first time in Spain as well?
No, I've been to Spain before, and I have been nude before. This is the first time doing it, for a camera, for a photo shoot.
Officially.
It was always a goal of mine to try and do it, to conquer my own body issues and stuff and get comfortable in my own skin and own my body. And we just being around so many lovely, kind, and straight men as well. Everyone was just so at ease and so comfortable, and some of the lads who'd done it before just really helped ease my qualms about it. The day of shooting, I had a bit of anxiety before we did it, but a bunch of the lads really reassured me that once that all evaporates, the awkwardness you won't even notice that you're naked anymore because everyone else is naked. And it felt very freeing as well, like very, like Fernando said, fulfilling to be comfortable in my own skin and surrounded by other people also in their own skin as well. That was really lovely. So it was quite the experience.
Oh, amazing! Because I mean, I know that you came to us through Fernando, but did you discover the project through Fernando, or did you?
So
you did.
He has a calendar from 2021, and it's 2023 now, and he still proudly displays it in the kitchen because even though it's out of date, he's just very proud of this calendar. So
our calendars are never out of date.
it's just the dates that move.
Oh, you know, and we don't always get those right. You know?
When I saw that calendar, I was like, wow, that's so empowering and impressive, and like just I was just very inspired by it. I was just like, you know what, I want to do something like that, man. I want to like conquer that goal, conquer that fear, and because he's so bloody fearless, and that's one of the reasons I love him so much. So yeah, to get to do that experience with him as well, for him to guide me through it, and yeah, that was something I'll treasure forever. So thank you for that, Fernando.
And the reason why I have the calendar out up to this point is not only I'm proud of the pictures and the work, but I'm proud of the project. So it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
Ah, thank you very much. That's very nice.
You look grey in it. You look grey in it. So.
Well, duh.
Because you're on the cover of that calendar, aren't you? That's
Cover
the one.
girl.
Yeah.
And that was my very first naked picture. And it made it to the cover. So it has a very strong symbolic meaning.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing. And what do you think of our new direction? Because you joined us when we were sort of a calendar with bits added on. Mm-hmm. And now we're like a training project that produces some merch. You know, it's a completely different story, right? What do you think about that?
I think it's so interesting to see how big it's getting and the projection it's getting. I'm very curious to see how it's going to unfold in the future.
Well, we won't name who your employer is, but we will be looking for their support at some point in the future. You guys have come into the project. This is your first experience of it. Would you recommend this to other men?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think what surprised me most as well was that when I signed up for it and I did it, I thought I knew what I was getting into, but then I learned so much more about myself in the process as well. Like when I got here, when we finally started doing things, and the experiences, the conversations I was having, like there were certain moments where I had to challenge my own perceptions, and there were things I didn't even realize about myself until, like, you know, I was doing yoga naked with a bunch of men and stuff. Like that was it was very eye-opening because it broadened my horizons to different vantage points within myself that I didn't realize I could have had. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it because it just will broaden your horizons in so many ways, but also it does a lot to sort of like break down the barriers between straight and gay men as well, because at the end of the day, we're all made of the same stuff. We all want the same things as well. It's just, we need to figure out how to sort of like break down those barriers sometimes. And sometimes it's just like getting back to the fundamentals of like who we are that make you realize those things. So, yeah.
And can I ask, would you recommend it equally to your straight friends and your queer friends?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm very lucky in that I've got a lot of very modern straight friends. They're very forward-thinking, very progressive, and I'm very blessed that I have a very loving support network as a gay man in the straight community as well. It'd be interesting to see if I could convince them to do it, but I think some of them with the right persuasion would definitely be up for it. So.
Oh, I would hope so. I'm thinking if you had a friend who was a little toxic, aren't those the ones that need to do it most?
Maybe. Yeah. But most of my toxic friends are in the gay community, not the straight ones.
I'm right.
Yeah, that is a good call. Yeah. Have you ever noticed the way, as gay men, only gayness is victimhood? It's like everybody else, women, black people, poor people. No, we're different. We're not. No, we can hate on them still.
Yeah.
We're not all victims of. No, we're different from you.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
There's good and bad apples, and regardless of sexuality.
Absolutely.
So everybody has room for growth. So, there's always room to grow.
There is always room to grow. What are you thinking, Craig?
I mean, just the same as been said. It's been a really eye-opening experience. I would definitely recommend it to friends. It'd be interesting to see if any of them would take up the offer. But different people I'm thinking might be interested, so I can maybe talk to them.
Well, please do. I mean, our registration will continue. Of course, at some point in the near future, you will have to do the 6-week training program before you'll be able to come on a retreat. So that will be a big difference. I mean, at the moment, we kind of, I had a conversation with you two, one-to-one. I mean, and I love doing that, but I'm not going to be able to do that when we've got 20,000 applicants, So we're creating a process so that men can join us. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted. I'm going to start that bit again.
Yeah. For those of you at home, a naked man just walked by and he lost his train.
I just thought he was about to say something or ask us something. People will have to do our 6-week training course before we get to this point. But I think that's important because I think it's like informed consent is very important. I mean, I know that there were moments on the weekend where you decided not to take part, and we've talked about that. And I think it's very important that the weekend always feels consensual, and that you don't ever feel that you're doing something that's more than you want to do. And can I check that people feel that way, that people feel comfortable with everything that happened, and that they didn't feel pushed to do something beyond their comfort zone?
What I appreciate a lot is that whenever I had a doubt and it was an open space where I could bring my concerns and say, I'm not sure if I'm 100% comfortable with this or that. And you said, don't you worry, we can run the pictures through you, see how you feel about them, and then move forward. That made me way more relaxed, and knowing that whatever we're putting in this project is consensual towards everyone, it's one of the key ingredients of being a part of it and being a supporter of it. So for sure.
I mean, you realise I was just saying that yesterday to kind of make you feel relaxed, but no, I'm kidding. No. We have to remember that any butt shots we run by you. Yeah. And a mental note to self, forgotten.
Another camera.
Tom, we'll have to talk later. That can go on the special card that gets lost at the airport. We shouldn't say things like that. If that happens. So is there anything else that any of you want to add before we finally let you skedaddle off to the airport? Sorry as we are to let you go.
I'm sorry to leave, but I want to thank you again for the opportunity, for the experience. Thanks everybody that was involved in it, from the meal prep to the filming and photographer team. These all have been great, and I would like to thank you and thank every single member for that.
Oh, thank you so much, Fernando.
Thank you.
And thank you all. Thank you all for taking part. And
thank you for having
me. Well, it's been a pleasure, and I hope you will stay with us on your journey into the future as barefoot men.